Let's start our session. So continue with our SSB batch. Today our discussion part is regarding equivalent units. The two in equivalent units, straight away I'm going with two materials are provided in the question. The same question we will try to work out under weighted average method as well as first in first out method. No, it's not possible to do under weighted average method because we want weighted average point of view. Okay, I will take one question from study material, directly I will discuss from there. Yeah, let's start, Nana. Sir, what is meant by equivalent production first? Means as on the date, how many number of units are completed, how many units are 100% completed and they are transferred to next process. To find out these things, we started equivalent production part. Okay, so equivalent production point of view, how we will calculate the concerned things. Equivalent units means number of units multiply with degree of completion. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, how to find out equivalent completed units? The number of units multiply with the degree of completion, then you will get equivalent completed units. So this method we are doing, this problem we are doing under first in first out method we are solving. If you want to solve the problem under first in first out method point of view, you need to check with what is the degree of completions given for opening part and what is there any degree of completion provided for scrapped units, is there any degree of completion provided in the closing stock. We need to check with these informations initially. Okay, sir, how to prepare equivalent production statement? Let's see, Nana. Put the heading statement showing equivalent production. Sir, how we find out this question? They are asking under equivalent production. Just by seeing degree of completion you come to know whether this is the normal process and whether it is an inter process profits or it is an equivalent production. And in our previous session, if you understand, you can see their provided amount of opening stock point of view, how much profit was included, they are providing in the question. If you see that part, you can identify that is inter-process profit. If you are seeing these like this degree of completions, then you can say that is equivalent production concept they are asking. Just simply by seeing prepare process account means, it doesn't mean that straight away don't solve those questions, because these are all time consuming questions, Nana. First you need to prepare equivalent production statement. Second, you need to prepare cost per unit calculation. Then third, you need to calculate cost apportionment statement. Then you need to prepare process account. So just by seeing process account means they are not asking more accounts, then don't start this particular problem. Some questions point of view, if they want to go with 7 marks, I think so they may not ask you entire part. They maybe ask you only the amount transferred to next process, how much. To that extent they will stop the question. Okay, if it is a 7 marks question. Really it is worth to go with 14 marks, but the 14 marks question they are preferring with standard costing or marginal costing. These areas they are giving high priority for 14 marks questions. So put the heading must statement showing equivalent production. Input particulars units, output particulars units, material 1 percentage units, material 2 percentage units, labor and overheads percentage units. Now whenever if you are preparing labor and overheads combiningly, check with the degree of completion for labor and overheads is same or not. See all the cases we have degree of completion for labor and overheads is same percentage. If it was not same, then we need to do labor part separately, overheads part separately we are supposed to do. Okay. So first start with input column, opening work in progress. How many units given? 800 units given. And transfer from previous process how many? 12,000 units. So introduction 12,000 units. That's it. Always your input must be equal to your output. This is only adjustment we will do with input column. Now which methods are we are doing? First in first out. Which method we are doing? First in first out. So whenever if you are doing under first in first out point of view, first see how many units you are transferring to next process. Totally how many units you are transferred to the next process said in the question? 9,700 units. So which method we are following? First in first out. We have how many units of opening with us? 800 units with us. First we'll try to finish those 800 units. Opening work in progress 800 units. Now immediately see what is the degree of completion given in the question. Opening part degree of completions they given material 1 100%, material 2 60%, labor and overheads you have 40% with you. Sir, opening point of view, this is what already completed percentage. Sir, why you are considering that is already completed percentage? Because that is closing previous process point of view, closing work in progress. That will be the opening progress for this process. Same like if you see here, closing material 1 100%, material 2 60%, labor and overhead 50%. This closing work in progress only degree of completions you will write down for opening part. That means these are all already completed degree of completions. If you want to transfer to next process, it should be 100% complete. Which one? Opening part. Already material 1 100% completed, you don't want to finish any percentage. Material 2 already 60% done, you are supposed to finish the balance 40%. Labor and overheads already 40% finished done, you are supposed to finish the balance 60%. Simply if you are doing first in first out point of view, if you go with the degree of completions, opening work in progress, take balance percentage. If you are doing equivalent production statement under which method? First in first out point of view. So opening work in progress, what is the degree of completion we are supposed to take? Balance percentage. That's the reason. Material 1 100% completed, so you don't want to finish anything. Material 2 60% completed, so balance to be finished 40%. So 800 into 40%, how much? 320 units. Labor and overheads already 40% completed, balance to be finished 60%, that means 480 units. Now this opening work in progress 100% completed. Now it is eligible for transferring to next process. Next sir, introduced and completed. Totally 8,900. Sir, how you got 8,900? Transferred to next process is 9,700. In that opening part belongs to how much? 800. So balance will be how many units? 8,900 units. Sir, if they are transferring to next process means what is the degree of completion we are supposed to take? 100%. Sir, why? If they are 100% completed, then only they are eligible to transfer to next process. That's the reason. What is the degree of completion we will take? Material 1 100%, material 2 100%, labor and overheads also 100%. So while you are doing equivalent production, introduced and completed, always you are supposed to go with what is the degree of completion? 100%. Because they are transferred to next process means always degree of completion is 100%. Then find out normal loss. See what is the normal loss percentage? They said 10% of production. They are not saying 10% on input. Production means, sir, how? Production equal to opening plus introduced minus closing. Then you will get how much you produced, you come to know. Opening how many? 800. Introduced how many? 12,000. Closing how many given in the question? 1800. So totally how much production was? 11,000 units. Okay, that is the way we can calculate it, production units. Sir, just leave some gap here and under that write down that working notes. Calculation of production. Calculation of production. Calculation of production. Write down the formula. Production equal to opening plus introduced minus closing. That is equal to 800 plus 12,000 minus 1800. That is equal to 11,000 units. Okay. Now what is the percentage of normal loss? They said 10% of production, correct? So go for it, Nana. Here 11,000 into 10%, that is equal to 1100 units. Remember, normal loss always the degree of completion will be nil. Why, sir? You didn't produce them. Normal loss means not produced only. If they are not produced means then degree of completion will be always what? 0 only. That's the reason we are not taking any units for normal loss. Okay. Then closing working progress. How many units are there? 1800. See, sir, once question, what is the degree of completion given for that? Material 1 100%, material 2 60%, labor and overheads 50%. Sir, closing point of view, what I am supposed to take? Whatever the given percentage there in the question, you need to take, that is only degree of completion. Sir, why? As on the date, material 1 100% completed. Sir, what I said, equivalent production formula is what? Units multiply with the degree of completion only. We are preparing equivalent production statement only. What is the closing stock units? 1800. Material 1, how much completed? 100%. So what is the formula for completed units? Number of units multiply with the degree of completion. Correct? So closing stock point of view, what is the degree of completion we are supposed to take? given percentage. Sir, what about balance percentage? While you are preparing the next process, the balance percentages will be represented. Same like right now, you mentioned a opening 800 point of view 40-60 here. So that means this will be the closing of the previous closing point of view. What you represented: material 1 100%, material 2 60%, labor and overhead 40% already you represented. That's the reason here also same thing. Here material 1 you are writing how much? 100%. Material 2 how much? 60%. That is equal to 1080. Labor and overheads are 50%. That means 900. If the same closing, if you are preparing for the next process, what is you will represented in opening point of view? Material 1 you will represent nil, material 2 you will represent 40%, labor and overheads you will represent 50%, because balance percentages you will write. Okay, and already I told you, always your input must be equal to your output. 800 plus 8900 plus 1100 plus 1800, totally how much? 12,600 only we got it. But always your input must be equal to what? Your output. Then the balance 200, what we are calling it as abnormal loss. So what we are calling it as abnormal loss. What is the total of input? 12,800. Add your output units. 800 plus 8,900 plus 1100 plus 1800. Combiningly what you are getting? 12,600. But what is the input you have? 12,800. So balance 200 will be considered as what? Abnormal loss. We already know normal output is less than the actual output, then automatically you will get abnormal loss only. Abnormal loss, normally if no information was provided in the question, means degree of completion we will take 100%. Sir, why? How much loss was happened because of my negligence, I want to find out. That's the reason abnormal loss degree of completion we will take 100%. But in the given question they said unit scrapped, material 100%, labor and overhead 50%. Sir, material 100 means which material? Both the materials. Yeah, sir, scrapped means can I consider normal loss also? Now only I told. Normal loss always the degree of completion will be nil. Why? You didn't produce those goods. Sir, abnormal loss also not produced. Now then why you are taking degree of completion? Sir, because of my negligence, how much quantity I lost, because of that how much cost I need to transfer to P&L account. If I want to find out all these things, I need to consider the degree of completion. If question point of view no information was provided, means we are taking 100%. If information was provided, means like this unit scrap or degree of completion, then take that degree of completion. Okay, so abnormal loss, material 1 100, so 200, material 2 also 100, so 200, labor and overhead 50%, that means 100. Now find out your equivalent completed units. 9,900, 10,380, 14, 16, 10,500, 10,900. Ma correct hai na? If it is wrong, your entire problem goes wrong. That's the reason be conscious while you are doing equivalent production. Okay, sir, understand everyone equivalent production concept. Very rare cases they are asking this model, but we don't know. That's the reason I don't want to take the risk. That's the reason only how I will explain in the regular class. I am spending that much time only to make you to understand the concept. So ready for the next statement? Now put the heading, Nana. Calculation of cost per unit. calculation of cost per unit. Here particulars, cost incurred, equivalent units, cost per unit. Particulars, cost incurred, equivalent units, cost per unit. First, material 1. Sir, material 1 cost means what? Whatever the amount we received from the previous process. How much amount we received from the previous process? 12,000 units, 16,350. That will be your material 1. So 16,350 cost incurred. Equivalent units, before writing that, do you have any scrap realization? Yes, sir. See, what is the scrap realization? They said 1 per unit. Scrap means only normal loss. Scrap means only what? Normal loss. What is a normal loss means? Here we got normal loss. This is the units we are supposed to take. How many units are scrapped? 1100 into 1 rupee. So 1100 deducted, then 15,250 will be your cost incurred. Then how many equivalent units you got? 10,900. Sir, where? Here, sir, this one. That is material 1 equivalent units. This is material 2 equivalent units. This is labor and overheads equivalent units. Okay. So divided by 10,900. You are getting 1.33999. Let it be 1.4. Round off. Next, material 2. Sir, where they given material 2? See cost incurred information. Material they given 10,500. See other information, there you can find out. Normally cost incurred part also you will see in other information's point of view. So material how much? To 10,500. How many equivalent units you have? 10,500. What is the cost per unit? We got it 1 rupee. Cost incurred divided by equivalent units. Then labor. See the labor cost given in the question. 20,760 cost incurred they given. Other information point of view. So 20,760. Equivalent units are 10,380. So cost per unit was 2 rupees. Same way, see overheads amount how much given in the question? 16,670. Overheads 16,670. Equivalent units 10,380. 16,670 divided by 10,380. So 1.605 they are getting 1.60 round off. So 3 plus 3, 6 rupees is the total cost per unit. Now because of points, maybe little differences you maybe get at the end, don't panic. But in the given questions point of view, in the examination, maximum you will get exact figures like 1.251, 1.4, 1.6, like that only you will get it. This question was did wrong with CMA Inter material as well as they deducted scrap realization from overheads. Never do scrap realization adjusted with any other expenses, even not from material 2 also. Always should be deducted from first material available for use. What is first material? Material 1. From that you are supposed to deduct that. So now our second statement done. Now third statement we are moving. Sir, second statement, any doubt? How to find out the cost per unit point of view?
Sir, material 1 cost method and
question, sir. See the question, sir. Always see the question. 16,350. Process, we whatever the quantity we received from the previous process, that is the material cost for us. 12,000 units costing 16,350. This is our material 1. This is our material 2. normally if you have only one material, from cost point of view they will give material, labor, overheads informations like this. This is two materials, that's the reason one material from the previous process and the second one was material added in this process. That's the reason we got two materials. One is from the previous process, another one is added in this process. Okay, sir?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, equivalent units for 10,380 or 10,320 or?
380.
Yes, sir.
Sir, okay na? Remaining people cost per unit computation. Now our third statement ma cost apportionment. This is very important under first in first out. Concentrate. First amount transferred to next process. Okay, here we are doing first in first out. Totally how many units you are transferring to next process? 9,700 units, correct? This 9,700 units consists of two things. One is opening work in progress, second one is introduced and completed. Sir, correct? If you see equivalent production also 9,700 we didn't return exactly directly. That is consists of two things, opening work in progress part to introduced and completed part. This is 8,900 at the rate 6 rupees I will take directly. Sir, from where we got 6 rupees? This is, sir. What is your total cost per unit? Directly you can multiply with introduced and completed. Okay. But here the issue is opening work in progress part consists of two things. What is that? Incurred, to be incurred. Incurred means material 100%, labor 60%, material to 60%, labor and overhead 40% completion point of view. 800 at the rate 6 rupees, that is equal to 4,800 rupees given in the question starting of the question. 800 units at the rate 6 rupees, 4,800 given a, what is that cost? Material 1 100% finishing, material 2 60% finishing, labor and overhead 40% finishing point of view, we incurred 4,800 rupees. Now you need to finish balance material 2, you here written material 2 point of view, see here opening part. Now this is to be incurred cost. 40 units for material 2, 320 units for material 2, 480 units for labor and overheads. Then only 800 units are completely finished. Then only 800 units are completely finished. Sir, this 4,800 cost is what? Material 1 100%, material 2 60%, labor and overhead 40% finishing point of view. That is the degree of completion of opening given in the question. For that percentage completion, we incurred 4,800 rupees. To be incurred means what? Material to balance 40% completion, labor and overheads balance 60% completion point of view. That's the reason material to 320 units into 1 rupee. Material 2 cost per unit, yeah, 320. Labor 480 into 2, 960 rupees. Overheads 480 into 1.6, 768 plus 960 plus 320, 2048. the total plus 4800. So 6848. Now what is this cost? To complete 800 units 100%. What is 6848 cost? To complete opening work in progress 100%. This is whatever the degree of completions given in the question point of view, completion cost. What is this? Balance percentages, what we mentioned in equivalent production point of view. To finish that balance, 480 units of labor and overheads, 320 units of material too. To finish those, we incurred 2048, 4800 given percentages. Combiningly, 6848 cost is what? 800 units of opening work in progress to complete 100% for material 1, material 2, labor and overheads. Sir, clear? How we got 6848? Everyone? Emma, still anyone doubt regarding opening work in progress 100% finishing point of view cost calculation? Shura? That's the reason I told you, if you do wrong with equivalent production statement, entire question goes wrong. Okay. Next, 8900 into 6 and how much? 53,400. This is what? 8,900 units, 100% completion cost was 53,400. Therefore, total amount how much? 6848 plus 53,400. 60,248 rupees is the amount transferred to next process. But normally we will calculate a cost per unit calculation. We will do a normal process point of view. Yeah, total cost minus scrap realized divided by normal output, then you will get cost per unit. By using that, you will do amount transfer to next process units. Here we are doing the same thing. Here also cost per unit only. This is also by using that only we calculated amount transfer to next process. But it is consists of two things: opening part 2, introduced and completed part. That's the reason we did the computation like this. Sir, any doubt on this point? Anyone? Amount transferred to next process. Still anyone? Still anyone? Shura? So now next, abnormal loss calculation. Next one is what, Nana? Abnormal loss calculation. Abnormal loss, material 1, 200 into 1.4, 280, material 2, 200 into 1, labor 100 into 2, overheads 100 into 1.6, 840 rupees. But normally what we will do, abnormal loss also multiply with cost per unit, but here we have degree of completion. That's the reason we are doing cost per unit like this. Suppose degree of completion not given in the question, then what we will do, abnormal loss 200 units into 6 rupees we will take. Got it? If abnormal loss point of view, degree of completion was not given, means abnormal loss should be multiplied with what only? Cost per unit only. We did also here on the same thing. But why we got different amount? Because cost per unit point of view, to multiply we have degree of completions. That's the reason. Got it, ma? With this we are ready to prepare our process account. Okay. Let's start. Put the heading process account. Particulars, units, amount, particulars, units, amount. Sir, how to prepare process account? Simple. Whatever the given question informations provided, debit all those expenses. Whatever the cost apportionment you prepared, use that information to credit other than normal loss. Okay, if you see the to opening working progress, how many units? 800. Now already amount given in the question, see the question, 800 units, 4800 provided already. Next, to material 1 account, 12,000 units, 16,350 already given in the questionnaire. Now if you observe, all these amounts already given in the question, just simply we are writing the expenditure of the concerned amount what is provided in the question. To material 2 account, don't write any units, 10,500. In other information we have material, labor, overheads, that is only we are writing here. To labor, how much? 20,760. To overheads, 16,000, how much? 670. Now if you understand, these are all expenditures already provided in the question only. We didn't computed anything, as it is question, copy paste here. Opening working progress units amount, introduced material 1 amount, other information you can find out material 2 labor overheads information. Now credit side, by normal loss account, 1100 units, per unit 1 rupee, that's the rate 1100. Next, by abnormal loss, we got 200 units, we already calculated amount 840. The whatever other than normal loss, what you are crediting, see the question, cost apportionment statement, see. There we have the amount, those amounts only we are crediting here. By abnormal loss 200 units, we calculated 840 rupees. By transfer to next process, how many units? 9,700 units. Correct? How much amount? We got 60,248. That is also from cost apportionment statement only we are getting. Oh, sorry, we forgot to calculate one amount, that is closing working progress. Closing working progress. If you have beside space for abnormal loss means write down there. Material 1, C equivalent production statement, 1800 units into 1.4. Sir, all the units we are taking from equivalent production statement only. That's the reason I said be careful while you are doing computation for equivalent production. Labor 900 into 2, 1800. Overheads 900 into 1.6, 1440. plus 1800 plus 1080 plus 2520. 6840 closing work in progress. 6840 closing work in progress. Sir, those units correct hai na? 1800 for material 1, 1080 for material 2, 900 for labor and overheads, and multiplied with the cost per unit. Then we got the closing work in progress. Then write down here by closing work in progress 1800 units 6840. Maybe a little difference you maybe get because we got 1.399, we make it as 1.4, 1.605 we make it as 1.6. That's the reason maybe little differences we maybe get. 60,248 plus 840 plus 1100, totally 69,028 we are getting. Let's see, minus 4,800 minus 16,350 minus 10,500 minus 20,760 minus we got 52 rupees difference. We get 52 rupees difference because of we round off the points, that's the reason, or otherwise you will get the same amount. So those 52 rupees try to adjust with your transfer to next process, that is 60,300 rupees right down. So 60,300 plus 6840 plus 840 plus 1100, that is equal to 69,080 rupees. 69,080 rupees. 12,800 units. 12,800 units. This is the way, Nana, we are supposed to calculate equivalent production if you have two materials under first in first out method. Yeah.